Okay, we are going live. I'm just gonna chill out until everybody shows up, so give me a few minutes. I can't wait to paint this with you guys. I'm so excited right now. So anybody who's piping in at the moment, just let me know where you're painting from, and let me know if you painted with me before. And yeah, I think that's a good start. I think that's a pretty good start. I'm just getting my setup here. So I did send out some little cutouts. So if you got like one of these little fairies printed here, it's not the exact same fairy that I did before, but it's pretty close. If you printed them, make sure you cut it out. So this is a really good opportunity for you to actually cut out this little fairy thing first, because it takes a little bit of time. There's a lot of like little intricacies. And guys, just remember, I have a bunch of like scammers, like people trolling my page hard. I keep trying to block them, but they still continue to show up. So like this MD Mehdi Hassan or whatever like that, I've been trying my best to block them, but they still pop in. So don't click on any scammer links, okay? They are just rude, trying to interrupt our awesome free party today. This is a free party. You did not have to register. You don't have to sign up. We're just hanging out, doing some painting, and painting's the best. And they have to go and like put their links in there to try and lure you to buy it, but you don't have to, okay? So just ignore them. If you feel inclined, totally report them as spam if you can. That would be really favorable for me. And yeah, I'm really excited for today. So, oh yay, Heather and Krista, we got Cambridge and St. Catharines. Yep. Thank you. Please, guys, I need you to have my back in the scammers department. There's not much I can do there. Yay, Patty's here from Amherstburg, and Kathy, I'm so stoked. So guys, I was just saying, if you missed out, I did send out some printout of the little fairies, because even though she's not complicated, and I truly believe that if I show you step by step how to draw her on here, which I will, you can do it, but it's nice to have the proportions. So even if you just kind of like have the setup, like just so that you know how big she should be on there, it really does help. And if you did print them out, make sure you cut them out. Do that right now. So cut it out now. And that's cool. Right? Oh, I know. Just ignore those guys. I don't even know what to say. Let's just send them, I don't know. I don't want to send them positive vibes, but just send them go away vibes, if that means anything, really. And that's kind of funny. It kind of touches on what this month is about with Julie's paint party. I have been 2020 was such a dumpster fire of a year. I thought it'd be really cool to start off the year with all sorts of magical things. So we did an intention setting mandala party. What did we do? I already forget what we did. We're doing this beautiful fairy. Next week, we are painting like some magical orca paintings. And then we are also going to do some full moon crystals. So anyways, anybody who's piping in here, I would love to know where you're from. I know it is crazy. And honestly, I spent hours trying to block everybody, and then it ends up messing up my page. So I don't know what to do about that. I wish Facebook had a call-in number to ask them why people are allowed to do that. Thanks, Faith. Faith reported 2 of them. So, yes, I appreciate it, guys. I really appreciate that. Randy, it's totally nuts. I can't believe it. Hey, TK Smith from Texas. Cool. Tracy from Six Nations, Ontario. Awesome. So good. Thunder Bay, Liverpool, Ohio. So good. Kim, I posted a cutout in the actual event page this morning. So you can actually go in there and just click save photo and go and print it on your printer if you need to. And guys, just remember, for paint parties, we need a cup of water, we need some napkins, our brushes, we got our paints. I have an empty paper plate here that we put our paints on. So if you don't have an empty paper plate, parchment paper works really good. Anything with a clean surface is great to put your paints on. Something that you can mix and do your stuff on. Awesome, guys. I'm so happy that you're showing up today. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I know people are always asking if this video is going to stay up. So the video that you're seeing now will be on my Facebook page for the next 2 weeks. I am also recording a high definition version of the painting that will go when my internet actually can upload it to my computer. It will go up on my website for sale, high definition, for like $5. So if you want a better version of this video, you can always purchase it later. And yeah, cool. Paula's here, Heather. So good. East Hartford, Connecticut. Canada loves you. Oh, thanks. I love Canada too, because that's where I'm from. And I hope I just answered all the rewatching questions. Cool, Lisa from NYC. I actually just did a party last night, or yesterday afternoon, with the kids from the Queens Public Library in New York. That was really fun. It was so cool to be able to connect with people from New York. Hi, Ginny from Florida and Michigan. All right. I love me some Michiganders. Hey, Cleveland, Ohio. Heidi. If you don't have a printer, all good, Jessica. We're going to draw this fairy on. I just made a printout just because I know people get nervous about doing that, but I'll actually be drawing it on with you. Now, with that said, you'll need a pencil, but the best way to do this is to actually have a white colored pencil or a light colored pencil. So a light blue, a yellow, something like that. Because our background's pretty dark, it's way easier to see the white lines on there, and they're also easy to cover up if something goes awry. So white colored pencils where it's at. I mean, yeah, I have a regular pencil here too. So it just depends. And when you're drawing on things like this, we're just going to take it one little shape at a time. I just thought it would be nice to give people the cutouts so that the proportions are correct. Because sometimes it gets a little tricky sometimes. And literally, if you could not put a fairy if you feel a little bit nervous about it too. That's not going to be, that's not a big deal, because the painting's actually gorgeous without the fairy. And maybe you could create some sort of other being with some wings on it. Maybe it could be a butterfly with some magic kind of popping up out of there. Cool, Becky from Washington, Seattle. Love me some Seattle. Actually, I was in Seattle a few years ago, like 10 years ago, and all my dreams came true because all of my favorite bands are from Seattle. So, because I'm a grunge baby. So, I actually like made some guys let me go up on stage and sing Pearl Jam with them at one of the bars there. I was very excited about that. Shout out to Sarah Head if you're watching. We had a fun trip that time. And guys, anybody who's popping in here, you just got to know this is a free party. Don't click any spammers. They're just, ooh, Sadia, yeah, an owl's a great idea. An owl would be beautiful here. I love that. I love any kind of night creatures, would be awesome. Oh, hey, Summer from Arizona and New York and Sheboygan. Love me some Michigan, guys. So good. And this paint party will probably run about 2 hours. So we're looking at about a 2 o'clock finish time, Eastern Standard Time. We're starting this at noon Eastern Standard Time. So, hey, Joanna, yay. And Jessica, cool, from LaSalle. Awesome. Or Windsor. Oh, well, Windsor, LaSalle. Close enough. Yay, Jamie from Maine and Tally from Toronto and the Kootenays. Yay. Cassie, Alicia from Niagara Falls. Danielle, the cutout is in the event area, if you go into the discussion of this actual event, you'll find a post that I posted this morning. It has the picture of these two almost fairies. This is just a lady until we put the wings on her. You can run in there and, excuse my hand for a second, print it out and get it cut out. But we are going to be starting pretty soon. It's already noon. And you know me, I like to start on time. So why don't you guys just settle in there for 2 seconds. I'm actually just going to set up my main video. And we're going to get this party started. So, oh, thank you, Douglas. That's so sweet. It's so nice. I love that I get to do this with you guys. It's so good. And like I said, I actually have a high definition video that I record at the same time that I'm doing the live video on Facebook because, yeah, I live in the country and I have very questionable internet, and we call our internet provider all the time, and they said that we're not going to have super high-speed internet for like the next couple years, which is insane to think about because this is totally my livelihood down in the basement in Colchester, Ontario, Canada. But you know, we just kind of roll with it, and I am videotaping another version of this at the same time, so there is going to be a high definition version available for this. So guys, everybody who's showing up right now, honestly, I'm so grateful for your presence here. I just really appreciate painting with people, even though we can't really, you know, be together right now. It's just so nice to know that you're here with me. It makes such a huge difference. And anyways, with that said, anybody who hasn't met me before, my name is Julie. I live in Colchester, Ontario, Canada, and I've been painting for a long time, pretty much since I was 12. But I gone through the ringer. So I used to paint rocks as a business, and I used to have a gallery out west for a few years, and I've done a children's book. And it's just been about 4 years since my friend invited me to do paint parties at her house with her and her family. And I'm always grateful to Sammy. So Sammy, if you're watching, thank you so much. It totally, it just sparked in me. I just know that this is what I was meant to do. I love working with people. I love performing. I love singing for you guys. And I love painting. It's just like the best combination I could ever possibly imagine. So I am so grateful to be here, and I'm so grateful for your presence. Honestly, like truly my heart explodes when I think about it. So to get this party started, I'll start again, and I do repeat myself a bit, so just make sure, don't get annoyed. I know that everybody kind of hears things a little bit differently, so you might hear me say the same thing a few times, okay? So, business number 1. I did post these cutouts inside of our Facebook event. If you want, you can go in there and print them now and cut it out. You're not gonna have to do, like, you can do most of this painting without that. So even if you don't get it done right away, you'll be able to fit her in later. I have a cup of water that I keep very separate from my drink water. So my drink water is over here, my paint water is over here. If you have them too close together, then you can swish your brush in your drink cup, and then you ruin your drink, or you drink from the paint cup and it's just bad news, and it happens all the time, and it can happen to you. So don't think it can't. So keep them separate, just be safe. I have some paper towels, some paper towels, and I have my brushes. So I have a variety of brushes today. I have my Fatty McFadderson 3/4 inch flat brush. I have my 1/2 inch medium flat brush here. I have a long skinny detail brush. This is a nice long liner brush, and just in case, I have a couple little mini brushes too, because sometimes she gets a little mini in here. I can totally do it with the long brush, but you know, if you have anything really small, you might really appreciate that when we're putting her little arms and feet on today. And then as for paints, I have 2 purples. You don't have to have 2 purples. I just use regular paints from the dollar store, just super simple, cheap paints. They're acrylic, water-based paints. I have one that's called Wild Eggplant and another one that's called Majestic Purple. One or the other is gonna work perfectly, or both. There's lots of ways to make this painting look beautiful. So please don't think that if you don't have both of these paints that it's going to turn out bad, because it won't. Obviously some white and black, those are always the colors that we love to have. And I mean, they're staples, right? And then I have a little bit of yellow and some light blue on there. And I'm gonna put all those paints on my trusty paper plate, which is nice and clean. But honestly, use what you have. If you have a regular palette, like a fancy palette with one of the finger holes in it, grab that. You can use some parchment paper and so on and so forth. So the way this is gonna work is we're actually gonna start painting in the middle, and it's all about stamina, guys. Stamina, stamina, stamina. So as many times as you can move your hand around in a circle, back and forth, as long as you can handle it in your bicep area, that's what's going to get you the nicest blends. And if you have the patience, you can get all these beautiful streakies in here. And I just want to remind everybody that painting is an incredibly unique process. So my painting's not going to look the same as this because it's a different day. It's going to be different. I'm painting with you guys, so it's a little bit different when you're painting with people. Everybody holds their brush differently. Everybody sees things differently. So really just trust that the intention of doing this painting is actually just to feel good. It's not to make a perfect painting. Perfect is just totally irrelevant in these kind of scenarios. It's really just about finding that peacefulness and like a couple hours where you don't have to think about the rest of your life, right? Where we can just kind of let go, let loose, and get that creative energy out. And I really hope that you find that today. My only intention is that I hope that you find the creative flow with me. So with that said, you're not going to see me for most of this party. I'm going to put my painting over there. I'm going to have my brushes and paints over here, and you are just going to see this right here. Okay, so like I said, we're going to start with some paints. Now, I'm actually going to squirt all of the paints on my palette to start. So we're in quarantine. You can totally conserve. Just put a little bit of each color. Very little bit of yellow. You don't need a whole lot of yellow at all. So we're going to go white, yellow, light blue. You can always add more paints onto your palette. So there's no reason why you need to like fill your whole, put on giant globs of paint. It's just totally unnecessary. Just a little bit at a time. And you'll be surprised as we kind of mix our colors together and stuff. My paints are getting old. I have a whole bunch of goobers in there. Dried up goobers all inside my paint. So funny. I've been holding on to these bad boys for a long time. And I always like to keep my black paint way far away from my... Oh, that's not black. That is some sort of weird ectoplasm that has come out of my black paint. So what happened the other day is I've been cleaning up my studio. Oh, there we go. There's a little bit of black on there. Cleaning out my studio, and I have all this excessive amount of paints. So I actually emptied out my whole thing. I still have incredible amounts of paint, but I gave a bunch of it away. So I'm really hoping that my friends that got those buckets of paint for me are able to use them and maybe join one of my parties, which would be super fun. Okay, so let's get this started. Everybody, let's take a deep breath. So Momita says, why are there two white and black fairies printed out? Honestly, I don't know. I just figured you can see the silhouetted version or you can see the empty version. It's up to you. There's no reason other than that. Okay, so let's get this party started, guys. Now, I'm just going to put my water cup right here to start. And I'm going to be using my big Fatty McFatterson brush for the whole background of this painting. It's always nice to give it a little dip in your water first. And I always get a little nervous before I start paintings. So, and I've been painting for like 25 years. So if you feel nervous, it's 100% normal. But the best part is that we're going to start with white on a white canvas. So there's literally no way you can mess it up. Okay. So dip of white, and right, you know, it's not quite in the center, but just a little bit above center. I'm just going to start to make a circle. And then I'm going to dip my brush in my yellow paint, and I'm just going to mix those two together. And I'm just going to start to grow this out. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to put these paints on and do our best to kind of give them a nice blend. I'm alternating right now. So I'm doing a little white, a little yellow, then a little bit more white. And then I'm going to dip my cup, I'm going to rinse my brush really quick here. Guys, I'm so sorry about the scammers. I honestly don't know what to do about them. It's just horrible. I may need to find a new way to do free parties. Okay, so I mixed a little yellow and white together. We made this nice circle. And I'm going to start to slowly add the blue in. So what's going to happen, as you add the blue, you might get a little bit of a greeny tinge with it. Don't mind it. Just keep going. We're going to be adding more paints on top of our background as we go. So a little dip in my cup. I'm going to grab a little bit of blue. And I'm just going to start to kind of work this around. And like I said, guys, stamina. So the more you can go all the way to the center. So I take my blue and I go around that whole circle that I just made with the white and yellow. And then I start to move that blue in towards the center. Okay. So just circle. Now to make it even, you want to go back and forth each way, unless you can make it actually go around in a full circle. I'm a little awkward with the way I sit for these parties, so I find it easier to do like a half and half. And maybe a little bit more blue on the outside of that. And then for the rest of the painting, we're really just going to alternate. We're going to have a little bit of white, then a little bit of purple, then a little bit of white, then a little bit of purple. And we're going to just kind of build on that. All of these colors look really, really beautiful together. So I really invite you to find your own flow and just know that if you start mixing the colors together, they're going to look so, so super nice, okay? So just around and around. And then I'm going to start to add in some of this Wild Eggplant Purple that I have here. So I have two purples. Now, if you only have one, just add the purple that you have, okay? No big deal. Oh, I got a pooper. I said pooper. Oh my goodness. Okay. So round and round. And you can see the more I go back and forth, the more the color comes together with my blue that I already have on there. And like I said, we are going to alternate the colors. So I'm going to put on a little purple, and then I like to grab a little bit of white. Now, white is such a great paint to kind of save the day. It helps you bring paint colors together. It really just, it helps lighten up any color that might seem too dark. And don't mind me for a second, I just need to get in here and kind of get centered a little bit. I'm a little bit on an angle over here on my side. So now I personally like to go as far around as I possibly can, because when we make short little brush strokes with this kind of paint, you get these little weird brush stroke marks in there. So I try and pet out the brush stroke marks. So you can see the more I go back and forth, the more the colors just beautifully come together. So all about stamina. And honestly, guys, my arm is on fire right now. My arm is on fire. My arm is on fire. My biceps on fire. Oh, thanks guys. So I can't really look at the chat at the same time that I'm painting, so I hope everything's going good. I see that Connie says that she can't get in, but she's messaging on the party. So I hope that she can see that we're painting together right now. And yes, everybody, this painting will be up for 2 weeks on my page for free. Okay, so now that I have a little bit of extra purple on there, I'm gonna again take a little bit of white and just start mixing some white. So the white is such a great way to get some nice, beautiful streakies around our moon. It lightens up, and it also, white is a very opaque color, so it's got a lot of pigment in it, so it makes our light colors like the purple. The purple can be very transparent, so it goes on a little bit see-through, and when you add that little bit of white in with it, it helps it make it look more solid, more opaque, more like a proper color instead of like a see-through color here. And as I kind of move away from the center of my painting here, I'm just going to continue to add some purple and white. And I'm even going to throw in a little bit of blue every once in a while. And I just want you guys to really feel confident to add in any of the colors whenever you feel needed. So beside the black. So black is very, very tricky color. I know it's not a color, but it's tricky because it's very pungent and it will take over your whole painting if you put too much of it on there. Yeah, Megan, I am using acrylic. So always water-based paints. They dry fast. You don't have to wait. You can just use water, no turpentine or anything like that. Whatever it takes to get rid of oil paints, you know. Yeah, just water-based acrylic paints, and I just get mine straight from the dollar store. They're just those craft paints. If you go in the craft aisle, I like Dollarama or Dollar Tree. And then obviously you can use better quality paints for this too, which would probably be best. But you know, I want to be here for everybody, and I know not everybody has a ton of money to spend on art supplies, so I literally get my paints from the dollar store. Okay, so as I'm just growing this out, I'm going to start to incorporate some of my dark purple as we kind of reach the sides of this painting. So we're starbursting out and we're filling up our canvas, and the whole point is that we want a really light area here and we want it to be dark around the edges. So as we get closer to the edges, then I'm going to add some more darker paint, including this dark purple that I'm going to start to put on around these edges here, and maybe not even so much of it, but it just starts to lend itself as we kind of work down the painting and over to the sides. It starts to add to that nighttime quality that we're looking for here. So honestly, guys, just a little bit of paint at a time, back and forth, back and forth. The more you go back and forth, the more those colors will come together, the more blends you'll get. And then every once in a while, just add a little dip of blue in there, of the light blue, or whatever blue you have. Light blue is also a nice color to make things look a little bit more solid and more opaque. It's definitely got a little bit more pigment to it. Excuse me. And there we go. And then it'll take those transparent purples and turn them into nice solid colors. So anytime you add a little bit of white or a little bit of that light blue in there, it just really makes that. And back and forth. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. And I'm just literally trying my hardest to get to the edges of my painting right now. And honestly, guys, I'm so, so ecstatic. Thank you so much for answering these questions for me. I feel like I'm totally in the flow right now, so I appreciate everybody answering any kind of like technical questions there. Um, hey, you know what? I'll just throw it out there. If you're technically savvy and you know social media, if you know how to use do backends of Squarespace, I am going to prepare to hire a little bit of help for myself. So if you feel that you love what I'm doing and you think you could help me make things better, send me an email. Okay? Send me an email because I'd be super stoked to have some help to run this business here. Okay. So anyways, with that said, the time has come. It's very, very important time where we're going to add little bits of black into our paint or into our painting, okay? Now, I really need you to take this one little step at a time. It needs to be really, really chill. So we're just going to take little bits of black, just like the tiniest little bit, okay? Littlest bit of black. And I'm actually going to start in the top corner up here and work my way down into the circular area. Now, once I hit the purple, so I'm starting in the corner and I'm still going in the same direction of my circle. And once I hit the purple, as long as it stays, as long as it doesn't start taking over, it's fine. But if it really starts to take over, just give your brush a little wipe, then grab a little bit of that purple and just swipe along with it. So what's going to happen is your brush is going to pick up some of the black, but it's also going to have some of the purple attached to it, which is going to help blend in with the purple that you already have on there. So up in the corner, I started with a little black. I'm swooshing back and forth. I get to the purple part. I took a little dab of purple, and then I start adding that in with my black paint so that it doesn't go and take over my whole circle. And I'm going to do that over on the other side too. So black. Once I hit my purple, I'm going to go grab a little extra purple, and I'm going to swipe along with it. So it's going to start to lighten up my black paint, and it's going to be easier to incorporate that dark paint in with the rest here. So back and forth. And nothing's looking super hot right now. It's very, very mediocre. That's because we are just, the only point right now is to just get our painting nice and filled up. We just really want all of these, we want our background to be nice and full so we can add some streakies over top of it later. Okay, so that was the black area. Now I'm going to start working down here, and I'm going to fill up this whole canvas. So I'm going to start alternating some purple and a little bit more blues. And then once I start to reach more towards the bottom of my canvas, I'm going to start to bring in the black just like I did up here, only we're going to move up in the corners up into this area here, okay? So I'm going to take a big old scoop of purple, whatever purple you have. You can alternate purples if you have both colors. And then if you want, you can always add in a little bit of that blue. That makes it look super pretty. I just like love the blue and purple together. It's so, so pretty. And you can see here, I'm trying to get from one side of my canvas all the way to the other, just so I don't get any of those weird little brush stroke marks that are so annoying sometimes. If you stop halfway, you get these weird brush stroke marks, but if you go from one side of your canvas all the way to the other, then you don't get those because you're just going back and forth. It's all in the hips, back and forth. Okay. So I'm getting towards the bottom here, and like I said, I'm going to start to incorporate that black. So I'm starting down in the corners down here, and I'm going to bring the black up into this area here. So got a little bit of black on my brush, just a wee little bit. And then I'm going to start in the corner and work my way into the circle here. On both sides. Now we want the bottom to be black, but it's okay to have it be a little lighter than that because we will be putting some black trees right over top. It's nice to not have the black trees completely and get lost down here. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that black on, but as soon as a little bit's on, I'm gonna grab my purple again and kind of swoop right over top of it, mix a little blue in there, and then you get a nice beautiful gray color. It's like a gray slate blue, and it lightens up the bottom, and I'm just gonna swoop it out until I reach the whole bottom there. Okay. So my canvas is completely full now, and so let's see. Okay, Obla Kayla, Obla Kayla, I like that. Obla K, Obla la, life goes on, no, da 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 da, life goes on. You can wet the canvas first, but you can also just add water as you're going along. So anytime where you feel your brush might be lagging or dragging along, it's not blending, it's not doing its thing, then it's a really good indication that you can add a little bit of water either to your brush or to your paint. So anytime I add water to my paint, I always dip it in my cup and I always tap it on my palette first. And then I don't go straight to my canvas with water on my brush because then it starts to drip and it takes the paint away and it's scary. So we don't want to do that. So I just don't do that. Wendy, it's okay. Don't worry if you're behind. We're just getting started here. Right now, we're literally just finding our flow and filling up the background of our canvas. So what's going to happen once you have this canvas completely full, we're actually going to start from the center again, and we're going to work our way out one more time, and then all of this is going to come together. It's going to allow us to get some more streakies in there. We're really going to bring this all together. And I know I do work a little bit quickly, but the way these paints work, it really does lend well to work a little bit faster before things dry up too much, because now all of my first paint is dry. Then I can go right back over top of it and start to layer on top, and it's really easy. It's really easy to do that. All right, slow please, slow please. Randy, thanks for answering all these questions. I can see you chiming in there a whole bunch. And guys, if you're just kind of popping in now, don't worry about it. It's all good. This video is going to be up for 2 weeks on my Facebook page that you can watch. And then I'm also recording a high definition version of this painting as well. So that is going to be up in a couple days right on my website. It'll be $5. No big deal. And literally, guys, it's just moving those arm muscles. So stamina, round and round. Round and round, love will find a way, just give it time. Just keep going, just keep going. Just keep painting, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do it. Okay, so now it is time to do it all over again. Yay! You're like, no, not again. But I'm telling you guys, like, don't worry so much about the background. If you're not keeping up, you just gotta fill it. Just filling it up is the only prerogative right now. If things aren't blending super well, don't even worry about it. We're giving it another go. Paintings like this, you know, sometimes it just takes a little extra finessing, and you just need to, you know, just keep working those arms back and forth. Keep going, keep going. I know, I can see everybody's asking me to go a little bit slower. So I will wait 2 minutes. Okay, so this is what I'll do. As you guys are finishing up, just keep me posted. Let me know when you're finished. And then while you guys are waiting to do that, I am going to offer you just a couple little links. So I have like a ton of events coming up. Like I said, January is my magical themed month. I think it's really important to remember that we all have magic and we can all tap into magic, and like literally painting feels like magic sometimes. So magical themes, we have this beautiful fairy. Next week we're going to be painting, let's see here. Ooh, on next Friday we're going to be painting this beautiful rainbow orca. This painting is called Orca Magic. Okay, so that's going to be next Friday. And then the Friday after that, we are going to be painting these beautiful crystals together. So like, how magical is that, right? Orcas and crystals and moons and magic. It's so nice. So anyways, to find any upcoming events, you just go to my website and you can, they're all $10. There you go, juliespaintparty.com/live events. That's where you can buy your tickets. And then obviously I have free events too. So if you want free events only, you can totally just stick to my Facebook page. Make sure you like my Facebook page, and make sure, you know, if you can't do the payment plan right now, it's all good. I just love sharing this with people, and the best way that you can compensate me is literally just sharing with your friends, guys. So when you're done your painting, share it with your friends, share the links. That's like totally the best compliment ever. So I appreciate everybody sharing all the time. It's really, really awesome, and I really appreciate it a lot. And then I also have a public group. So when you're done your paintings, make sure you post them in the Facebook public group. If you're not in there yet, go request access and get in there. I can't believe these guys are still trying to put scamming links. It's so annoying. Get out of here. Glenda's asking, what is your monthly group deal? So I have a membership as well. So basically all of my parties are $10 a month. And you know, that's perfect for anybody who just wants to pay as you go. But for $20 a month, you get access to all of my live parties, and you get all the recordings to all of my parties. For right now, everything's just held in a private Facebook group. But starting in probably about March, if I can get my stuff together, I will have an actual membership off of Facebook, so people that don't have Facebook can also participate in the membership as well. Okay guys, so let's get to it here. We're going to start over again, and we're going to start in the middle just like we did before. So what's going to happen now is you're going to find, as you're kind of flowing outwards again, all of these colors are going to get a lot more solid. You're starting to understand what colors work with what and how that happens. So it's really beneficial to get it all down first. And once you start putting the second layer on here, all of these colors are going to become so much more vibrant and so much more solid. And it's going to really offer you the opportunity. What's Kasha, that's hilarious. What is, that's hilarious. Look at all those emojis. I like the penguin the best. Glenda, can you sell what we paint with me? I mean, what's stopping me? I mean, if you offered it as like, I mean, if you wanted to sell your paintings, I can't really stop you from doing that, can I? I can't. Okay, so let's get started again. So guys, like before, we're just gonna start with a little bit of white in the center, okay? And we're gonna work our way out again. Now, what I want you to concentrate on this second time around is really just finding some extra streaks and really focusing on lightening up this centerpiece. We want our fairy to kind of have a nice moonlight behind her. I might even have to shift my circle over a little bit here, which you can do the second time around. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of white. I'm going to start with a little circle and start working it out from there. So a little white, and then a tiny little bit of yellow, And I'm just going to let those colors start to streak out. And then I'm going to add my blue and go around and literally just one color at a time start working out. Now, the first part's just a little tricky, so I like to get that nice blend in there. So I just go back to the center, and you can see I swoosh my brush round and round and round. And then I start to go back and forth. My little bit of blue, and I'm going to alternate my blue and white for a little bit here. So a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. And because this is the second round, you're going to find that the paints will probably feel a little more draggy than the first time around. So anytime you feel that lag and drag in your brush, just give your brush a little dip in your cup, little tap on your palette, and then you will find that it will just cruise so much nicer that way. Dip in the cup, tap on the palette, dip in the cup, tap on the palette. And I am going to use a little extra white on the second time around so that I get these nice little streaky points in here. So if you put a little bit of blue, back and forth, grab a little white, back and forth, then you get some cool streak action happening. Little dip in my cup, little tap on my palette. And now I can move that paint around so that it starts coming all together. Come together right now on my painting. Okay, so this blue circle is about, I'm going to say it's probably about 6 inches wide. Once you're about there, then it's probably safe to start putting some of the purples on there. So that's what I'm going to do. And just do one little section at a time. Now the paints really do blend a lot better when you have a little bit of dampness on there. So if you have to put a little damp on your brush and kind of move that around and then starting to add little streakies around it, that's gonna be the secret sauce to getting some really nice blends for you. Dip and tap, dip and tap, dip and tap. Yeah, Glenda, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, Blakela, I do like that. You know, every little bit counts. So, I am already starting to run out of my wild eggplant on my palette here. And honestly, I used it till it's gone. Then I will add more. I don't waste. I just like using up what I have. And continuing on. So guys, this is the point in the painting where you can really get lost, okay? When you're finding these nice flowy brush strokes, it's actually a perfect opportunity to think about all the things that you want to see happen in your life. It's a great opportunity to let go of anything that's kind of ailing you. So, if you're feeling like you're not catching up, if you're behind, please don't feel that way. It is way more beneficial to you to just find your flow, find your pace, don't mind me, and just keep going back and forth with your brush and find that beautiful, peaceful space that that painting brings, which is just like the best ever, right? Now, for me, I find this when I'm not teaching a class, I connect right away. But I always think of all the things that I'm grateful for. Think about all the things that you have in your life, not the things that you don't have. I mean, it's okay to think of the things that you want to have, but it's really great to start with the things that you do have and just find that beautiful sense of gratitude. That's the key to manifesting all those things that you want in your life. And anybody who did my intention setting party, I think we tapped into that a lot, but I feel like it has been like the magic sauce to everything that I've done in my life, where whenever I'm painting, I always think of the things I'm truly grateful for. And then I start to picture all the things that I want to happen in my life. And it's quite remarkable what ends up showing up. Let me tell you, it's pretty magical. So if you can do that, I highly recommend it. All right, so I'm just alternating here. I'm adding a little bit more white this time around with my purple. And same thing as before, as I start to move to the edges of my painting, I'm gonna add some more of the darker colors. So I'm gonna grab some more of that dark purple and start to add it in there. But I'm also gonna use some of that white and blue to keep it light. Sorry, I know that doesn't make sense because we're making it darker, but to get some of those lighter streaks in there as well. Jessica, so what's happening now is I'm just alternating colors, and a little bit of water really helps. So adding a little, anytime I feel dragginess with my paintbrush, I dip in my cup, I tap on my palette, or tap inside whatever color I'm using. And then I'll go, and you'll find that it helps mix those colors together. It helps your brush just smooth cruise along the canvas. And then I'm also alternating colors. So a little bit of purple, and then you can grab either the light blue or the white and mix those colors in there too. And the white and the blue are the colors that are gonna make it look like there's the shining of the moon. So it's nice to have all of these little contrasts in here, and all the colors look so gorgeous together that it doesn't matter what goes first or second, as long as you're just kind of cruising along, feel it out, experiment. You can just grab a little bit of blue, swoosh it in there and see how it works with it. If it doesn't, just grab a little more purple and go right over top of it. There's a lot of leeway in these paintings. But it really is important for you to tap into your own, I don't even know what to call it. It's like methodology. So you just got to keep working your arm muscles. Just keep going back and forth. Don't stop. It's all about the stamina. You just got to keep working back and forth. And then anytime you feel the drag, dip your paintbrush in your cup, and then add a little bit of water. Always tap it on your palette first, then add the water. And just push that paint back and forth and let those beautiful colors come together. And then I sing, "Come together right now." Mandy, if you want to use a sponge, I don't see why you wouldn't try it. I mean, it's a really good idea to try it. I love the idea of using different vessels to kind of do your blending and stuff like that. Just give it a shot of Ruski, see if it works for you. Okay, so I'm just continuing to fill up my canvas as much as I can. Back and forth, all in the hips. And then once I start to reach the bottom down here, I have quite a bit of black. So I might add a little bit down at the bottom down here. So once I'm getting towards the bottom here, I just take a tiny little dip of black paint, and I start in the very bottom corner, and I just bring in a little bit of black from each corner, and I bring my brush back and forth just until it fades out into the rest of the painting. So tiny little dip of black, start in the bottom corner, and back and forth until it fades out into the rest of the painting. And the more you go back and forth with your brush, the more it's going to fade, the more the colors are going to come together. And then I'm just going to keep working my brush back and forth. So you can see when I'm working with my brush, and especially in these areas here, I'm just using the natural circular motion of my wrist. I'm going back and forth, back and forth. And same here, you know, we start to find that natural circular motion that you find with your hand. Okay. Now I want to make my center glow a little bit more because it looks like it's a little oblong. If you if you can't see that, it's like mirror. And I do want there to be a nice little glow from my center here. So I'm going to take a little bit of white, make a relatively decent circle. I mean, I'm just going to go back and forth with my brush a few times and hope for the best. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle or anything. Just kind of get this started. So this is our nice light area. And then I'm going to so to make just some extra pizzazzy streaks in and around my area here, my middle area, so that it looks a lot more shiny. I'm just going to take my time and use a little bit of wet paint to make just a few extra streaks around, okay? So I'll show you what I like to do. I take my brush, I dip it in my cup, and I'm going to dip it in a little bit of white. So I have this like watery kind of white. It's almost watercolory white, but it's almost purple because my water's purple, but that's okay. I know that there's white on my brush. And just gently kind of whoosh back and forth to get some streaks in there. Love those like streaky moon streaks. So just gently kind of going around and tightening up my circle. And I can do that with a little bit of yellow as well. So getting that little bit of yellow in there and just letting my brush, my wet brush kind of cruise around this area. So the whole technique is a little bit of water. So I got a little water on my brush, and then I dab a little bit of paint with it, whatever color, white or yellow. And I use that nice watery color to just take my time and work around this moon area. Now this painting, I can understand if it feels like I'm going a little fast. Like I said, just don't fret and just trust the process. Just continue to work at your own pace, and you're not going to miss anything. You're not going to miss anything. I'm going to just continue to work on my canvas the way I work on mine, and you do yours. And at any time, just ask. Just, you know, ask a question. I got my eye on the chat up here. Thank you, Rob. That's nice. Thank you, Sadia. I know, the colors are really nice in this painting for sure. And then you really have to, I know it sounds super annoying, but really try and tap in to your own color choices. Like I said, all of these colors look so gorgeous together. There's no wrong way to do this, okay? It's just how long you can stand going back and forth, or round and round, I should say, with your brush. Round and round. And letting your brush just glide across the canvas. However long you can stand doing it for, the better your painting is. Or the more, it's not the better, that's not a great word to use. It's just the more detailed your painting can be. The longer you can handle going back and forth, the more blended it'll be and the more detailed it'll be. So right now I'm just using a little bit of wet white to cruise around this area. And you can see I'm just going back and forth 100 times. Honestly, guys, my arm is on fire right now. Thank you, Sadia. Yes, they do go a long way. It's so true. So Sadia says very little can go a long way with these paints. Dollarama has amazing stuff nowadays. Also for those living in Toronto, Victoria Park and Eglinton, the Golden Mills Plaza has a huge dollar store. Thank you. Yes. I know there was a period of time where it was kind of rough trying to get art supplies from the dollar stores. I live in a small town, so they just got eaten up right away. But yeah, man, Dollarama has great stuff. Great stuff. You can get your canvases, paints, and brushes there, and all sorts of different fun art supplies if you want. So fun. Mandy asked if you can use a sponge to blend again, and I say just go for it. If you want to try it, give it a shot. Why not? Give it a shot. Okay, so as I'm kind of creating more streakies around the moon, I'm using the same technique I'm going to use, but I'm going to start to just kind of pick and choose a few different colors. So we want the lighter colors to be in and around the moon. So dip in my water cup, a little tap on my palette. I'm going to grab a little bit of white, and you can see when I grab that little bit of white, it's nice and watery. And I'm going to just go around and around, and it's going to start to lighten up around my moon. And you can do that with the yellow and also the blue. A little bit of tap with my blue, and just adding a couple little strokes at a time. And the more you can go back and forth with your brush, you can find lots of different ways to continue to add extra detail into your painting. It's just a matter of how many times you can go around in a circle. How many times can you stand it? Now, once I'm happy with the amount of streakies I have in my painting here, I might feel brave and just add a few darker strokes with a mixture of my black and some purple so that I really get some dramatic effect in there. So just one little swoop at a time. Just keep painting, just keep painting, 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 painting. Oh, I think I just sat on my thing. Oh, there we go. Okay. So anytime a paint goes on kind of wonky, just grab a little bit, put a little bit of water on your brush, dab it on your palette, and get in there and just keep streaking. Like I said, I do not expect my painting to look the same as my original painting. It's just really hard to make exact replicas, so I don't even expect it. I don't expect my original painting to look the exact same. It's just not going to, so it's all good. Mandy, if you ran out of purple paint, that's cool. Just, as long as you got to a decent area, maybe just alternate some other paints. You can maybe use some more blue. You can mix what other color? You can mix a little black and blue together as well. That might be nice. Now, don't mind me. I might just sit in front for 1 second just to get a little bit of more of a circular thing going on here because it's a little wonky from painting on the side. So don't mind my shoulder here for a second if it gets in the frame. I just really want this to even out here a little bit. You know, it's like you can paint forever, but nobody's immune to having, you know, days where things don't work out the way you want them to. It's just the way it is. It's not always going to look the way you intend it to. All right. Now I'm going to give it one more go here. You know what? I feel like I'm happy with this. I might just fix up my corners a little bit more. And like I said, if you want to get a really good dramatic effect, you can totally take a little extra black and swoop it in with the purple down at the bottom here. Try not to take up too much. You don't want to use too much black because it just takes over so quickly. But if you wanted to put a tiny little bit on your brush and kind of swoop in a few little black streaks here and there, I would just really take a very little amount on my brush, and you can just mix it in with the colors that you already have going on there. So with that said, I'm going to leave this pretty much the way it is right now. And we can start to move forward. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to kind of get that background nice and finished up. So take these next few minutes to really hone in and get lost in the process. Okay, so let's see where we're at with questions. Okay, Mandy's got no more blue either. Well, you are just going to have to figure out what color is going to work the best for you. Yeah, so as soon as this party's over, the replay goes right up on my website. You can absolutely just go into like the video section of my Julie's Paint Party page, and this will be in there as soon as we're done the party. So that's good. And then I also have a high definition version of this that is getting recorded as we speak. It's a little different because I'm not actually looking at the camera, but the quality of the video and the painting is much better than what you're getting from the live Facebook feed. So that, as soon as I get that uploaded, it goes on my website at juliespaintparty.com/shop tutorials, which I'll put in here. And you can buy the high def version for $5. art.com/shop tutorials. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I know, right? Trish, is there such a thing as painter's arm? Yeah, there is. Honestly, it hurts. It means you're doing it right. Yeah, absolutely. You can skip the wings if you don't want to put them on. You can, this is your painting. Oh, I think did I forget something in there? That's not the right link. Let me just erase that. Julie's Paint Party. Party.com/shop tutorial. Does that work? I don't know if that, I don't even know my website. Oh, there we go. There we go. Did I put in Julie Robinson art? Oh my goodness. My brain shuts down sometimes. Let me tell you. Thanks, Rob. So Rob says you describe things very well and make them seem possible to do. All in the mind and then in the hand, I think it goes, right? To be honest, yeah, there is, I mean, when you're doing any kind of craft or art or something like that, as soon as you can let go of the process, that's when the best stuff happens. So I was in a band for a few years. I've always been a musician, and I started picking up the drums, and that's what I found every time. As soon as I started thinking about what I was doing, that's when everything went wrong. But the second I can let go, the second I just get lost in the moment, which happens with painting as well. I often do that. That's honestly when the best stuff happens. So it can be hard for people because I understand that it's really easy to, it's really easy to overthink things, and you really don't have to for painting. It's a magical experience when you can let go and just make it happen. Yeah, Lori, honestly, in those scenarios, so when the paint starts to drag off the canvas, depending on where it is, so if it's along the bottom edges or anywhere along here, you can always cover it up with trees, which is really great. But trying to go over those areas with wet paint is not going to work. So you have to let it dry before you fix up any of those areas. It's a little tricky when it happens with acrylic paints, because if you really lay it on there, then it can be really difficult. It starts to kind of like peel away from it. So one thing I would suggest to do too, if you guys have like an excessive amount of paint on your canvas right now, I would suggest just grab your brush and dry it off on your napkin. So give it a good rinse, dry it